All right, we are live. Fade You podcast. NFL Week 9 recap, halftime of Sunday Night Football. Quick roll call here. Matthew James with Joe, with Neil. Kmart at the Ducks game. Ducks are scum, but the seats look hot, so Kyle, have fun. And Chris Duke, missing in action. Joe, your thoughts?
Who gives a fuck? Doesn't add much to this anyway, so it's all good.
Precisely. All right, guys. So a good day, a good week 9 for us. Looking at my notes from the pre-pod from Wednesday.
What does that
say?
I
see Cincinnati, I see Tampa Bay, I see New York Jets, I see Washington Commanders, I see New England Patriots, I see 5-0 from Wednesday's preview pod. Good work, dads.
Wow.
Now, Joe, we got to say Tampa Bay, pretty lucky, but we'll take it. Thank you, Tom Brady.
Oh, of course. Yeah, TB12. Give that motherfucker 50 seconds and what happens? Give Josh McDaniel and the fucking Raiders a 17-point lead and you see what happens too. So I think we losing the Raiders for 5-0 for us for Vanilla Gorilla, but getting Bucks, I think all is equal.
It just goes to show sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, sometimes both. But you know what, Joe? At the same time, we bet that knowing that the Rams can't run the ball.
Yep.
Can't grind out a first down when they need it. And that's exactly what happened. And so both teams clearly flawed. But like you said, it comes down to, well, do I want to be on Tom Brady if it's a one possession game late or not? I mean, shit, I went against that motherfucker against the Saints and he got PIs and flags and shit. And sometimes that happens. So is it lucky? Yeah. But would I rather be on that than on the Rams that can't get a first down when they need it? I mean, contrast that with Seattle running out the clock.
Dude,
night and day. I think Rams dead.
Rams seem pretty dead. I think that was just all-time horrible coaching by fucking McVay, dude. Like, they had 1st and 10, Bucks, no timeouts. You get a first down, game over. They go run. It's 3rd and fucking 5. So you're going to either hand Tom Brady 50 seconds or you're going to hand him a minute 20 seconds. Like, what? Or a minute 30, whatever it would be, whatever the math would work out to. And he goes and just gets stuffed down the middle. And I'm like, at a bar full of Rams fans, and they're all like, go for it on 3rd and 5. Like, throw a pass. At least do something. They run the ball, game over. It's like, I could not believe it. I think McVay's a dumb fuck for not running or throwing the ball there, but it is what it is, man.
We'll take it. We will take it.
We will take it.
Okay, Neil, where have you been?
So I was off the grid as of about Friday at 4 p.m. Had a nice little Boy Scout camping trip with the little guy. You go over this hill in Hamul down here in San Diego, and it's like the end of the world, basically. There's no cell reception. There's no nothing. Walk about 3/4 of a mile to an office in order to get some Wi-Fi. So I did that to check in late Saturday night to figure out if someone won the World Series, which found that out. Unfortunately, because it's Boy Scouts, the biggest negative about Boy Scouts is there's no alcohol, as we all try to be sort of outstanding dads to the youngsters. Wow. So would have preferred to drink myself into an oblivion after hearing that the Astros won, but
you didn't sneak any? You got to sneak some, Dad.
I feel like the ramifications of getting caught. I don't know about that. Maybe one day.
Quick update for those watching live. Chris Duke did show up, it turns out. Chris, are you in a closet? Where are you?
No, we took some, my wife and I took some of our meat over this. Our friends have a smoker. We smoked the fuck out of some pork, and I got some fucking red wine, and we're just fucking chilling, man. And we're just sad. Freck and I, he's a god. But he's in Tulsa, and we're 1-3 this week. And now we hold on to Andy fucking Dalton for 2-3.
Did you feel like you were chilling earlier when you were on some just godforsaken lousy teams like the Raiders, Colts, and Cardinals?
Yeah, Joe and I looked good. We're like Joe's staring, 5-0 in the face with the Raiders up 17-0, and they did what they do and just piss fucking leads away, and that's what happened.
Raiders gonna Raider.
Oh my god. So why don't we touch on, what I said in the chat earlier, a big takeaway, we're halfway through the season with the conclusion of week 9 here. And I think one of the biggest takeaways, and I don't know if this applies to every season, but it certainly applies to this one, is that the market is slow and late to adjust away and off of preseason expectations. You see teams like the Rams, Packers, and Bucks continuing to get priced like playoff teams, which, I mean, is there a pretty good chance that none of those teams make the playoffs at this point? I mean, the Bucks might.
Yeah.
The Bucks are in such a bad division. Yeah, I was gonna say the Bucks. Yeah, exactly. The Bucks are in such a bad division.
Well, Matt, and you could throw in like the Falcons and the Seahawks. I mean, you could throw in all those teams that are
he's talking about.
preseason.
Well, you could say conversely.
Okay.
Conversely, yes.
The poop that is supposed to be poop, they're not catching up with them because those teams continue to show up and fight strong. So it's incredible.
I mean, we're 9 weeks in, and Chris, some of those teams you mentioned, the Falcons, the Seahawks, the Giants, who's the other one I mentioned earlier? The Jets.
Yeah.
Teams that are continuing to get priced like they're scum, like they're bottom 5 win total teams. And the adjustment just simply isn't happening. I mean, what are all those teams ATS combined? Probably like 10 games over 500 easily.
We need to
Falcons.
Yeah. Matthew,
Falcons, Jets.
We need to tweet the Avalanche gif right now. Who's not firing
oh man,
Chiefs minus 3 in the second half right now, right?
Yeah, jeez. At halftime. We'll touch on double-digit dogs here in a minute, but I mean, is that it, Dads? Is it? I mean, are people still falling back on preseason thoughts of what they thought these teams were, and they're still betting accordingly? I mean, how do you explain the continued? I mean, Seattle square dog today, right? I mean, I don't know if that's ever mattered less than it has this season, right?
Nope. Correct.
In NFL, I mean, I think Tennessee was a square dog yesterday. Georgia pulls it out. But, yeah, I mean, with NFL, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, the dogs are just king right now. And, I mean, even tonight I thought I saw – that's why I asked Joe, hey, what's the action looking like on Tennessee? It looked like a lot of them, and here they are winning at halftime as double-digit dogs. So it's almost like throw that out the window, and go with your gut. And, yeah, like you said, Matt, the Lions are scum. The everyone's looking. The Packers have to regress, right? It's only 3.5. The Lions went out right. They get 3 picks, and the rest. So it's like this year's great. The parity's great, and it's great to see you guys, you dads, doing. All of us are doing great and above 500. So it caters to us greatly, and I hope we keep it up.
I think what it goes to show too, and this leads into the double-digit dog discussion. For me and my group, I mean, we're off to an incredible start. Chiefs are probably not going to cover. So we're probably going to come out of this at 29-16 through 9 weeks. And that's fucking incredible. We'll take it. But our 2 losses this week are going to be on double-digit favorites. And I think the reason the dogs are doing so well of late, it's so hard in the NFL to play a clean game and make no mistakes. Philly had 2 total turnovers on offense going into that Thursday game. They're going down the field. They get 50 yards in like 2 plays. Next play, Hurts fumbles, and that takes points off the board, right? We're seeing the Chiefs tonight. How hard is it to play a clean, perfect game? I mean, this guy can't throw, and you still can't stop Derrick Henry. It's so hard to play perfect. It's so hard to do everything you need to do to cover a big point spread. And time again, all 3 times this week, it's good. The double-digit dogs are going to go 3-0 against the spread here in week 9.
Right, dude. Let me look at Jets. I mean, shout out to fucking Jared sniffing that one out early, saying fucking, hey, when is a 5-3 home division dog catching 12 goddamn points? Like, that's crazy. And it was a it was a pretty easy cover after the first quarter when Josh Allen just couldn't get his shit rolling. It was crazy.
Chris, do you want to talk about your trend you love, Chris? That kind of met it, right? Was it
The one he doesn't put in the contest?
Yeah,
Right,
going into the
talk
bye,
about-
right? Explain that one.
70 up. It's got to be up to 74% because I think I texted you guys before it went 5-0 now with the Raiders, with the Eagles, with the Browns on Monday night, with the Niners last week, with the everything. It's so yeah. That I mean, I think they just give it their all, right? I mean, it makes it. Matt, you asked, is there sense behind the trend? This one seems like it is because look, guys, give it your all. This is a division team. We want to fuck them up, especially as double-digit dogs. And guess what? We get a week rest. We get to go kind of chill with the family. So it makes sense, and it hits again outright. It's unbelievable. So I need to check and see if there's any more that qualify. I wrote it down at work. I'll see if there's any more this week or this year, but I'm not sure.
So it's a division team going into a bye because it obviously hit today with Jets. It hit last Monday night with Browns.
Division dog going into a bye.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if it's dog or not. The Eagles were obviously a division fave against Cowboys that one night. I think it's division in general, division teams, but dogs especially. But yeah, either way. And
because Niners hit Sunday against Rams too.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on. Now, this would have been a good week for it with 6 teams on a bye. We'll have to see who's on a bye next week. But do we want to bury anybody? Anybody dead? I mean, is Indianapolis dead? Is Arizona dead? Are the Raiders dead? I mean, can you bury anybody at this point through week 9? Is anybody a no bet?
No, I think if you're dumb, then yeah, nobody's a no bet. There's always value to be found, even if you're betting on scum, like Commanders and the Jets, right?
You know, people thought that the Colts had value this week, right? People were like, I can't lay
pretty
almost a
fucking
touchdown.
dead, honestly. Come to think of it,
and people were betting them today,
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
John Murray.
Yeah, but
Panthers took sharp money at 8.5. So I mean, there's no team. Look at next week. What is it? Cardinals and Rams. The 2 teams, Matt. You just named 2 dead teams playing. If there's value, if the Rams are going to be inflated like next week at 3.5 or something, maybe there's time to buy the card. So,
Well, and Chris talked about the Cardinals Rams as 2 dead teams, and Matt alluded to who are 2 other dead teams. We said Colts and Raiders. Well, they play each other in Vegas next week. Way. So Raiders are laying 5.5. So you talked about the 4 just randomly, right? Talked about the 4 teams that we thought are dead. There you go, right? You got Colts in Vegas next week with Vegas laying 5.5, that good old dead number. So
amazing.
I mean, if you're going to ask to me the deadest team, I think Joe's right. You can't say the team's dead. These are still NFL football teams. The Colts, to me, I never understood the move. And I was the one that I love New England. I said to begin with, it's, Bellinger or Belichick minus 5.5 is greater than Ellinger over 5.5. And you saw that Ellinger had, 103 passing yards. They scored 3 points. It was an ugly game from New England's perspective. I didn't think necessarily anything less, but I mean, the Colts are in rough shape. But again, there's not a dead team if there's value behind it. Because should the Raiders be laying 5.5 to anybody at this point? I'm not so sure.
They can't even go get a W against the Jags laying 1, and now we want to lay 5.5 against the Colts. Like, come on, put in Big Dick Nick for fuck's sake, Jesus,
dude. Looking next week. There's one in particular that is going to be so hard to keep out of my bullshit, and that would be the Pittsburgh Steelers as home dogs against the goddamn Saints.
I saw that too.
Oh, yeah. I love that more.
Especially if they win tomorrow night against the Ravens.
Oh, fuck.
Inflation.
Please. Yeah.
That would be incredible.
We're gonna have to see how the Saints look on Monday Night Football for sure. Short week, traveling, you're going to hear all that. You're going to hear Dome team going outdoors. Let's get some crappy weather back east in Pittsburgh. I mean, that might check several boxes. Any other takeaways from today? Minnesota wins again. They come back from down 10 points in the 4th quarter, 7-1. Next week's going to be really interesting. They're at Buffalo. and
9-point.
I want to see.
Yeah.
It's got to be the biggest spread for a 7-1 team or better, maybe ever.
Sure.
I mean, we'll have to see. So that's going to really get put to the test. Minnesota winning and just all these. It just seems like the ball is bouncing their way time and time again. I mean, they were hanging on for dear life for the cover, just begging Minnesota to kick a field goal at the end of that game.
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
Matt,
I was shitting my
thought that
pants.
Commanders was
so
dead.
stressful.
When Commanders fucking got that 15-yard penalty for like knocking the snapper over, I was like, oh, well, great. Here we go. Another Commanders L out of nowhere. The last goddamn second. And then they got the fucking they did the play where a quarterback gets the ball and just kind of like Kirk Cousins kind of like stands there and just takes a sack on purpose. And I'm like, let's fucking go. Shout out Super Contest for making that 3.5 and not 3 like it closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, do you want to touch on your experience being on the Bears today?
Oh my God, what a whirlwind! I mean, Fields pulled his absolute hog out for the dads, and and Miami just continues to just get the deep ball, and good for them. But I wanted to ask you guys. We just talked about the Packers being priced like they're still a team. Anybody want to take scum with me and buy the Packers low plus home dogs plus 4.5 against the Cowboys next week?
Chris,
Cowboys off a bye too.
McCarthy revenge, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like Packers -4 against the Lions is already buying them low. If you ask what was that preseason line? What do you think? Packers
7.
-6.5, 7?
Yeah,
it has to be. You're already buying low this past week, and they fucking lose outright. So I don't know.
And
dude.
now you're getting them as 4.5-point home dogs.
What do we think the preseason line was? Yeah, for Cowboys at Packers -4, -4.5.
Right.
Probably.
Now it's going to flip
over
the other.
A touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now it's going to be an 8-point swing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
what about the Falcons just being the Falcons and doing talk about two teams that just love to fuck up, like Chargers. The Chargers did the Charger thing and the Falcons did the Falcon thing, and holy fuck, what a roller coaster of a game that was too.
Yeah, I saw another contest had Falcons 3.5, and I think ours had 3, right? So you pushed in ours.
Yeah.
And I don't know that FanDuel one. I think the lines come out late, so it makes sense taking the hook. But
Falcons was a very popular play in the Super Contest, so it's kind of good for us. If it had lost, it would have been great. I think the guy who's currently in first had Falcons today. At least get a push out of that. How are you going to get to the window on Carolina on Thursday? What's that line open at? Carolina home for Falcons on Thursday.
Plus 2.5.
Plus 2.5.
And they went back to Baker today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh
wow.
Shit.
And they just played in week 8. So this is the rematch 2 weeks later on Thursday Night Football in Carolina.
What's crazy is like nobody has Amazon, so nobody's gonna watch that shit anyways.
I know. It's just a shame that no one has Prime Video.
Yeah, that shit's been fire. Thursday night games have been absolute fire this year. I'm excited for this one. It should be a nice 9-6 final. But I'm gonna really make the case for Freck. I'm gonna make the case for the fucking Panthers on Thursday night, and I'll put that poop in. Matt, you
won't, Chris. No, you won't, Chris. You're going to talk about it for fucking all week, and you're not going to include it in your contest like you've done every other motherfucking time.
No, I have not. There's only been a couple Thursdays, but this Thursday is.
It's only been a couple Thursdays of the season.
Submit early. There's no chance you submit early.
I'm submitting early, Dad. I'm saying it now.
Well, let's get out of here with this. Last thing, looking ahead to Week 10 early. Joe, German beers. 6:30 a.m. Pacific to watch Seahawks Bucks kickoff in Munich.
I could not be more down. I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a good time. I think we got some fucking World Cup too, even though soccer is stupid.
No way.
I think we got some World Cup games, and that would be hot as well, being that I'm going to have 2 TVs set up, and we know Carson's foreskin's going to want to watch some soccer because he is a soccer guy. The beautiful game. So we're going to have some football and some football to watch and smash some German beers. It'll be a good time.
Neil, do we have college basketball tomorrow night?
On the 7th, I think. Yeah.
It just
Nothing.
keeps getting
Monday
better and
night?
better.
Nothing big. Yeah. I guess technically tomorrow morning, Baylor tips off, I think, early tomorrow morning. But you do get sort of your first round. I can't remember. I think it's Thursday's like the first real
You're
game
correct.
on Tuesday.
So we
Joe,
got
are you
Baylor
having a
Monday
get
morning.
together on Sunday morning, Joe? We having a get together? I'll show up at 7 a.m., Dad.
Yeah, you'll show up late for sure. But I figured because Carson's in town, did you forget that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are we gonna watch?
We've
for-
already determined next week's gonna be a dad's day. This has been determined for like a week. So
I know,
yeah.
but I have some fucking chili cook-off in the afternoon, so I want to come get.
Go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Don't care. Go ahead and do that. Don't
No.
even need to show up.
Are
It's
we
all good.
meeting at your house at 7 a.m.? Let's do it.
That's exactly what we just discussed. We actually discussed 6:30 when the game tips off for start.
Matt, are you gonna be there at 6:30, Matt?
That's what we just said.
Holy
That
cow!
is what was just literally.
I don't know, like, do
30
you not
seconds
listen?
ago.
We quite literally said, "Hey," Matt said, opened it up and said, "Hey, Joe, 6:30 a.m. Germany game, drinking German beers," and Chris was like, "Oh, I'll be there at 7 then." Okay.
Dad, that is so hot. I'll see you there.
All right, Chris.
All right. See you at 7:15 on Sunday then.
All right, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday.
Bet poop, fuckers.
That poop, right?
Jet cock.